Rage on that beat, going crazy.
Well, hey folks, welcome to another video here at The Last of Knives. Today we're checking out the CJRB Small Feldspar. This knife is actually available in two different blade sizes. You can purchase the larger version with 3.5 inches in blade length, and this smaller one I have here which comes at 3 inches, so half an inch in blade size difference. These knives also have a pretty good price range for what they offer. The small 3-inch Feldspar comes at $45 Canadian or $35 USD. And the 3.5-inch variant comes at actually a few bucks more, which is pretty surprising if you're looking at the good and bad, at 50 Canadian dollars or 38 American. I have to say this was a really nice knife to carry over the past 2 months I've had it. I had no problem carrying it around because it's just small, it's lightweight, and it's really fun to fidget with. But before we go any further into the video, let's get right into the features about this knife. First off, taking a look at the back of the blade, as you can see here, this blade is made of D2 steel. Both Feldspar versions are in D2 steel, and I gotta say, for what you pay for, D2 is a really good steel that performs well for its price, and it's ideal for everyday use like cutting open packages or cardboard. Next, it has a drop point blade and a flat grind, and the blade is stonewash finished. The handle has some contouring to it. It's G10 with a blue machine grayish color to it. I find the color to be very appealing with the stonewash finish of the blade. Everything fits together nicely, which CJRB does really well with their knives. The liner material is stainless steel and the knife runs on ceramic bearings. Also, we do have a deep carry pocket clip so it can ride in your pocket without any part of the knife protruding out. The clip is also reversible so you can install it on the left or right hand side of this knife, which is great for left and right handed people. Keeping it simple here, we have a liner lock that you can push the little metal piece to the side. And now the size dimensions, like the overall length and weight. I think the weight of this knife is perfect. It's not too light that you forget it's in your pocket when you need it the most, and not too heavy to bother you. Handle thickness. Now the blade thickness of 1/10 of an inch or 2.6 millimeters. But anyways, let's talk more about these features, and to start that off, one of my favorite things about the knife I really appreciate is the action. Normally, knives that come from China have not so great action. Not saying all knives from China are bad, but typically ones at this price range that come from there are pretty uncommon to find, so I'm happy to stumble upon this knife that has smooth ball bearing action. You actually don't need any wrist at all when opening or closing this knife. Also, this knife is really easy to deploy. It takes very little effort and you don't have to apply as much pressure as you do with other knives. Most of the reason is probably because of the small size, but I do appreciate any knife with smooth action and easy deployment, which this knife definitely has. They also have a few different options in terms of handle color and materials. You can get translucent green, you can get black, brown, these bluish gray scales. So yeah, a few colors you can choose from. You can choose whatever flavor fits you the most. These handles are also quite comfortable. They are contoured G10 scales, so you get a lot of grip out of this and some rounded edges, which makes it more comfortable in your hand, as opposed to knives with like flat scales, so without any contouring. In my opinion, they're not as comfortable as knives which do have contouring, like your Feldspar right here. Something that pushes me back a bit though is that there is some hot spots when holding the handle. When you get a full grip around the handle, you can feel the clip is sort of uncomfortable when you're holding it. The problem is mostly happening because the clip is too big for this size, but I guess it would be fine with the 3.5-inch Feldspar. Also, this knife has stainless steel liners which are nested inside the handle, which means they can't be seen from the top angle, but if you take a look inside, you can see it's in there. I really like nested liners because it just makes the knife look clean and simple. You don't have two layers when you're looking at the top. But anyways, talking about the size of this knife, well, obviously it's going to be smaller than the regular 3.5-inch version, but I would think this variant would be too small if you have big hands or even just regular size hands. Very similar size to a Benchmade mini Griptilian, so keep that in mind if you're thinking of getting one. I mean, if you're thinking of getting a small knife like this one for light EDC tasks and you might take it out just a few times a day for a few seconds, then I would totally go for it. Or if you just generally like knives at this size, then I would go for it, but do note that you have 4 inches of handle to hold on. Also, another thing that sort of sets me back is the thickness of the handle. The handle gets pretty thick here and there, but at the same time, it makes the grip a bit more comfortable to hold because you have more surface to grip on. And now for the blade, you have 3 inches of cutting edge, which I'm absolutely fine with. And if you live in a 3-inch area, this would fit in your area fine. I think it's a perfect size for common everyday tasks like cutting open packages. This is a high flat grind, which is perfect for getting the job done, or a great all-arounder sort of blade grind for slicing through cardboard, fruits, rope, plastic, anything that isn't related to batoning sticks or chopping off branches. This knife would pass without any trouble. Now, high flat grinds are slightly different compared to full flat grinds like the grind on the Ontario Rat 1 or 2, which are still in the same price point at around 40-45 bucks Canadian. For the high flat grind, it sort of leaves a small portion of the same thickness as the spine before it gradually narrows down into the sharp edge, whereas a full flat grind begins narrowing down from the spine. But yeah, the flat grind is perfect for simple EDC tasks around your house, and topping off that, the blade is made of D2 steel, which, like I said earlier, is good to go. At this price point, I think you can't really ask for any more. Straightforward, it's great for what you pay for and it gets the job done well. And fun fact, it's technically not stainless steel because it has 12% chromium in it and you need 14% for it to be stainless steel. But yeah, it's relatively corrosion resistant, but it does rust quicker than some of its other competition like AUS 8 or VG10. D2 is also fairly difficult to sharpen, although the edge does last longer than AUS 8 and VG10. But again, for its price point, I think it works well. Blade centering sadly far to the left, as you can see here, which is kind of disappointing, but for like a cheap knife, I don't really expect that much out of it. But it has little to zero blade play. Now for the pocket clip, which is another thing I really appreciate about the knife, it's tip up only but it is reversible, so it's totally ambidextrous in terms of clip, and actually the whole knife because it has dual thumb studs, so for you lefties or righties, this knife will have no problem for you. This clip is also deep carried, so it rides deeply in your pocket without any knife protruding out, and you got a lanyard hole as well. It sits very nice in your pocket without any worries of it falling out. It's just nice and secure. In terms of fidget friendliness, I think this would absolutely pass the test. Like I said, it has nice ball bearing action, really smooth action, and really easy deployment with the dual thumb studs. A simple liner lock which is really easy to disengage. It also has a big cutout here which makes it a lot easier to unlock or disengage. So yeah, I could see myself sitting on the couch all day watching anime, opening and closing this knife over and over again. It certainly is fun to fidget with, at least for my size of hands and mind. But anyways guys, time to wrap it up, and I gotta tell ya, for 40 bucks, I really like it. It has great action, comfortable handles, great steel, it's lightweight, it's small, it's just a great knife to have on you. But the things that kind of sets me back is sort of the thickness of the handle. If they slim down the handle just a bit, this would be an amazing knife in my opinion. And if they could shrink the size of the clip, this would absolutely rock in my opinion. And as always guys, thanks so much for coming by. Feel free to subscribe, like, comment if you enjoyed this video, or dislike and unsub if you didn't, but either way, thanks for watching.